The fluorescent lights of the Target sign are humming above your car. It's 9:47 p.m. on a Wednesday. The store closes in 13 minutes. You're sitting in the driver's seat, phone in hand, staring at your banking app like it's a horror movie. You have $43 worth of survival items in your cart. Toothpaste, laundry pots, a basic birthday card for your nephew. Things you need. But your balance is a jagged number that makes your stomach drop. You're doing poverty math, subtracting the $43, then calculating how much gas you need to get to work until Friday, then praying no automatic subscription hits your account in the next 48 hours. While you're sitting there in the dark, a notification pops up. It's Sarah. You work in the same department. You started the same year. You sit 3 desks away from each other, and here's the part that burns. You know exactly what she makes because you have the same HR salary grade. But Sarah just posted a photo from a white sand beach in St. Lucia. It's her second getaway this quarter. She's smiling, holding a coconut, wearing sunglasses that cost more than your entire grocery cart. How? Is she a secret heiress? Is she living a double life? Is she drowning in $50,000 of credit card debt just to look like she's winning? My name is Sean, and the answer is going to make you feel a mix of relief and absolute fury. Sarah isn't lucky, she isn't a genius, and she isn't a fraud. 6 years ago, she made one boring financial decision that took her 20 minutes to set up. She hasn't touched it since. That 20-minute decision has quietly grown into a $52,000 freedom fund. By the time she's 60, that same decision will be worth $3.1 million. Today, we're going to stop looking at the lifestyle people show us on the outside and start looking at the engine they build on the inside. If you are tired of being the person doing math in a parking lot while people with your same paycheck are living a different reality, hit that subscribe button. Today, I'm teaching you the math they intentionally left out of the classroom. To understand how Sarah ended up on that beach while you're stuck at the checkout counter, we have to look at 2 people, Marcus and Julia. It's 10 years ago. Both are 22 years old, fresh out of college, and both just landed a job as junior analysts making $52,000 a year. In their minds, they're starting from the exact same baseline. But their philosophy on the gap is what will eventually build a $3 million wall between them. Marcus believes in the ladder of success. To him, every raise and every paycheck is a signal to upgrade. He sees his $3,200 monthly take-home pay and thinks, I've worked hard for 4 years. It's time to look the part. He goes to a dealership and signs for a brand new mid-size SUV. Between the loan, the premium insurance, and the gas, he is out $750 every single month. He tells himself, it's just a car payment. Everyone has one. It's a standard cost of living. Julia looks at the same $3,200, but Julia has a different perspective. She decides to keep driving the 2012 sedan her parents gave her. It's got a dent in the door and the radio display is flickering, but it's paying off. She takes that same $750 a month and does something Marcus thinks is wasteful. She sends it into an S&P 500 index fund. Marcus laughs. You're living like a student while I'm driving a beast. Life is short, Julia. Why suffer now for a maybe later? Let's watch the invisible gap grow. At age 30, Marcus has traded in his SUV twice. He's always in a new car, but his net worth is essentially zero. In fact, if you count his remaining loan balance, it's negative. Julia's Dentmobile is still running, but her investment account, it's hit $112,000. At age 40, this is where the math starts to get cruel. Both are now making $90,000. Marcus finally decides to start saving. He puts away $1,000 a month because he's getting serious. But Julia's account has grown to $415,000. At a 10% average market return, her money is now making $41,500 a year just by existing. That's nearly half her salary earned while she sleeps. At age 62, Marcus has worked hard his whole life. He's been responsible since 40. He finishes with about $760,000. He thinks he's done well until he realizes that with the cost of healthcare and inflation, he's still on a tight budget. Julia? Julia is staring at $4.8 million. She didn't work harder than Marcus. She didn't have a better job. She simply understood that $750 a month isn't just a car payment. It's the subscription fee for a multi-million-dollar retirement. Marcus bought a piece of depreciating metal. Julia bought a piece of the American economy. Now, looking at Marcus and Julia, the math seems so obvious that it's almost offensive. You're probably thinking, if it's that easy, why isn't everyone a millionaire? The answer isn't that people are stupid or lazy. The answer is that your brain is biologically programmed to hate everything I just told you. We have to go back 200,000 years. For 99% of human history, saving for the future was a death sentence. If our ancestors found a beehive dripping with honey or stumbled upon a berry bush, they didn't invest the calories for next winter. They ate everything immediately. Why? Because tomorrow wasn't guaranteed. A predator, a storm, or a rival tribe could take it all. This left us with two psychological bugs in our software that modern corporations use to keep you broke. Present bias. Your brain values a $5 latte today more than it values $5,000 30 years from now. To your prehistoric brain, the $5,000 doesn't exist. It's a ghost. But the caffeine and sugar hit in your hand, that's real. That's survival. This is why you feel a ping of excitement when you buy something new, but feel nothing when you look at an investment balance. Loss aversion. Psychologists have proven that the pain of losing $100 is twice the intensity of the joy of gaining $100. This is what keeps smart people poor. When the stock market drops 10%, your lizard brain screams, "We're losing the honey! Run!" You sell your investments at the bottom to stop the pain, while the compounders like Julia see a 10% discount and keep buying. The sunk cost fallacy. There's a third trap called the sunk cost fallacy. This is when you keep pouring money into a bad decision because you've already spent so much. Think about that $700 car payment. You're 3 years into a 6-year loan. You know the car is worth less than what you owe. You know the insurance is killing you. But you think, I've already paid $25,000 into this thing, I might as well finish it. You are throwing good money after bad money. Every month you continue that payment to finish the loan, you are losing the chance to start Julia's $4.8 million engine. You're staying in a bad relationship with a piece of machinery because you're afraid to admit the first 3 years were a mistake. The lifestyle creep virus. Finally, we have to talk about lifestyle creep. Have you ever noticed that when you were making $30,000, you managed to pay your bills, but now that you make $60,000, you're still broke? Your brain treats every raise like a mandate to expand. A slightly nicer apartment, a slightly better gym, the premium version of every app. You aren't actually getting richer, you're just inflating your prison cell. To win this game, you have to stop fighting the math and start hacking your biology. You have to make saving automatic, so your brain never has the chance to eat the berries. Now, this is where the fear brain usually pipes up. You're thinking, okay, Nick, the math looks great on paper, but what about 2008? What about the 2020 crash? What if the world ends right after I put my $750 in? This is the objection that keeps smart people in the Target parking lot for their entire lives. They think they're being cautious, but they're actually just being victims of a lack of historical context. Let's look at the S&P 500, not as a scary line on a news ticker, but as a survivor. Since the mid-1920s, this index has faced the Great Depression, an 86% drop, World War II, the Cold War and the threat of nuclear annihilation, the 1970s oil crisis and stagflation, the dot-com bubble burst, the Great Recession, a once-in-a-century global pandemic. Through all of that, every war, every pandemic, every financial collapse, the average annual return has remained approximately 10%. Even after adjusting for inflation, you're looking at around 7%. That is enough to double your purchasing power roughly every decade. The zero failure window. Here is the statistic that should help you sleep at night. In the history of the U.S. stock market, there has never been a 20-year period where the S&P 500 produced a negative return. Not once. If you bought at the absolute worst day in 1929, right before the Great Depression, and just held on for 20 years, you still came out on top. The market is a machine designed to capture human progress. As long as people keep working, inventing, and consuming, the 500 largest companies will find a way to make a profit. When you wait for the right time, you are betting against the entire global economy. Why crashes are your best friends. If you are a compounder like Julia, you should actually celebrate when the market drops. Imagine you go to Target and you see that your favorite $50 detergent is suddenly on sale for $35. Do you panic and run out of the store? No, you buy as much as you can. When the market drops 30%, your monthly $750 is buying 30% more shares. This is called dollar cost averaging. You are buying more when it's cheap and less when it's expensive, automatically. You don't have to time the market times itself for you. The cost of missing out. JP Morgan did a study that found if you invested $10,000 in 2003 and left it alone for 20 years, you'd have over $64,000. But if you got scared during the dips and missed just the 10 best days of the market over those 20 years, your money would only be worth $29,000. The best days almost always happen right in the middle of a scary market. If you aren't there for the bad days, you won't be there for the best days. To win, you don't need to be a genius. You just need to be immovable. We've dismantled the psychology, we've looked at the history, and we've seen the math. Now we're done with theory. We are moving into the execution phase. Because knowing how to build a fire doesn't keep you warm. You actually have to strike the match. The reason people like Sarah can afford those trips to St. Lucia isn't because she spends 10 hours a week researching stocks. It's because she built a freedom dashboard once and then literally forgot it existed. She turned her wealth into a background process, like your phone's operating system. Here is exactly how you do it tonight before you go to bed. Step 1. Secure the free money. If you have a job with a 401k or a 403b, check if they offer a match. Most companies will match your contribution up to 3% or 6%. If you make $60,000 and you put in $3,600, they give you another $3,600. That is a 100% return the second the money leaves your check. If you aren't doing this, you're effectively taking a pay cut every single month. Step 2. Open your tax haven. Go to a major low-fee brokerage like Fidelity, Vanguard, or Charles Schwab. Open a Roth IRA. The magic of the Roth. You put money in after you've paid taxes on it. But then it grows tax-free forever. When you're 65 and you pull out that $4.8 million we talked about, the government gets 0%. On a multi-million-dollar account, that one choice saves you nearly $1 million in taxes. Step 3. Pick the global engine. Don't get fancy. You want a total stock market index fund or an S&P 500 index fund. Look for these tickers: VOO, Vanguard S&P 500, VTI, Vanguard Total Stock Market, FXAIX, Fidelity 500 Index, and SWPPX, Schwab S&P 500. These funds own pieces of everything: Apple, Tesla, Costco, Visa. You are betting on the ingenuity of the entire world, not just one company. Step 4. The 5-minute automation. This is the most important step. Link your bank account and set up a recurring investment. Whether it's $100, $500, or $750, pick a number that hurts just a little bit and set it to pull the day after your payday. The reality check. Right now, you're standing at a fork in the road. Down one path is the version of you that keeps doing what you've been doing. You'll keep the subscriptions you don't watch. You'll keep the car payment that's normal. You'll keep ordering the $35 delivery burgers. And 30 years from now, you'll be sitting in a different car in a different parking lot, still doing poverty math, wondering why you're so tired. Down the other path is the version of you that decides to be boring today so you can be limitless tomorrow. That version of you is going to feel a little pinch for the first 6 months, but then they're going to hit that $100,000 friction point. They're going to feel the machine start to hum. They're going to start saying yes to life because they stopped saying yes to every marketing email. The math of 2026 is moving. Every hour you spend thinking about it is an hour you are losing to the power of the curve. Sarah didn't get lucky. She just got started. Put the phone down, open the account, start the engine. I'm Sean, and I'll see you at the finish line.